A massive Imperial fleet moved through space like a pack of metal sharks. Admiral Korthik stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the stars through the large window. His scaled hands gripped the rail as he studied the planet below. Another world to add to the empire. Another species to bow before Imperial might. For 3,000 years, the Galactic Empire had ruled without question. Their plasma weapons could melt through any armor. Their energy shields could stop any attack. No species had ever stood against them for long. Today would be no different. "Admiral, we are receiving the planet's surrender," reported his communications. "Officer." The blue-skinned alien's voice carried the usual boredom. This was routine now. Most worlds gave up without a fight. "Good. Begin the standard procedures," Korthik replied. His 4 eyes scanned the tactical display. 50 Imperial warships surrounded the helpless planet. The locals had simple chemical, rockets and metal bullets. They would join the Empire or be destroyed. Suddenly, alarms began to sound across the bridge. The navigation officer looked up from his station with confusion in his large black eyes. "Admiral, we have an unknown contact." Large vessel approaching from Sector 7. Korthik turned to look at the main screen. "Show me." The image changed to show empty space. Then something impossible happened. Reality seemed to twist and bend. A hole opened in space itself, and through it came a ship unlike anything in Imperial. Records. The vessel was huge, nearly as large as Korthik's flagship. But where Imperial ships were smooth and elegant, this one looked brutal. It had sharp angles and thick armor plating. Strange energy readings came from its hull. Most shocking of all, it appeared to be made of metal and ceramic, not the energy-infused materials the Empire used. "What is that thing?" Korthik demanded. His tactical officer worked frantically at his controls. "Unknown, sir. The ship is not in any database. Its design is completely foreign. Energy readings are unlike anything we have seen." Inside the alien vessel, Captain Jake Morrison stood on his own bridge. The human looked out at the Imperial fleet with calm blue eyes. His crew worked at their stations around him. They had traveled further from Earth than any human before them. "Well, we found them," said Navigator Lisa Bell. The young woman's fingers danced over her controls as she analyzed the alien ships. 50 vessels in a standard blockade formation. Someone down there is having a bad day. Chief Engineer Tom Bradley spoke from his station. "Captain, their ships are giving off massive energy signatures. Way beyond anything we expected. These guys have been playing this game for a long time." Weapons Officer Kate Hughes studied her displays. "Their weapon systems are active, but they are not targeting us yet. They seem to be focused on the planet." Communications Specialist Ryan Cole looked up from his station. "Captain, I am picking up transmissions between their ships and the planet below. I cannot understand the language, but the tone sounds like demands." Morrison nodded. "So we have stumbled into the middle of a conquest. Lisa, move us to a position between their fleet and the planet. Ryan, see if you can establish communication." "Admiral." Korthik watched as the strange ship moved with surprising grace for something so angular. "Communications. Hail that vessel. Standard Imperial greeting." The communications officer sent the usual message. It was simple and direct. Surrender immediately. Submit to Imperial authority. Prepare to be boarded and processed. On the human bridge, Ryan Cole worked to decode the alien transmission. After several minutes, he looked up with a frown. "Captain, I think I have the basic meaning. They are demanding our immediate surrender." Morrison raised an eyebrow. "Is that so? Well, I suppose we should respond. Open a channel." The transmission reached the Imperial flagship. Korthik heard words in a language he had never encountered. His translation systems worked to decode the meaning. We come in peace, but we are prepared to defend ourselves. Korthik felt his blood temperature rise. In 3,000 years, no species had dared to speak to the Empire as equals. This primitive vessel was either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. Admiral, his tactical officer reported, the alien ship has positioned itself between our fleet and the planet. They appear to be protecting the locals. Korthik studied the tactical display. 1 ship against 50. The crew of that vessel must be insane. Very well, they want to play hero. Communications, send them our final warning. Submit or be destroyed. The message reached the human ship. Morrison listened to Ryan's translation and shook his head. They are really not getting the message. Tom, how are our systems? All green, Captain. Kinetic barriers at full power. Armor plating is rated for sustained bombardment. Railguns are charged and ready. Kate, target their lead ships, but do not fire unless fired upon. We are still hoping for a peaceful solution. Admiral Korthik received the human response. More words about peace and protection. He had heard enough. Tactical, select 3 destroyers. Have them disable that ship with suppression beams. Set them to minimum power. We want prisoners, not wreckage. 3 Imperial destroyers moved forward. Their sleek hulls gleamed as they approached the human vessel. On their bridges, alien crew members prepared to fire weapons that had never failed to stop an enemy ship. The suppression beams lanced out. Brilliant streams of energy that could paralyze any known vessel struck the human ship. The beams hit the angular hull, and something unprecedented happened. The energy dissipated harmlessly across the surface. On the Imperial flagship, the tactical officer stared at his readings in disbelief. Admiral, the suppression beams had no effect. The target is undamaged. Korthik felt a chill run through his scaled body. That was impossible. Suppression beams worked on every known technology. Increase power, fire again. The second barrage was twice as strong. The energy beams struck the human ship and again scattered uselessly across its hull. Inside the Unzi Defiance, the crew barely felt the impact. Their energy weapons cannot penetrate our kinetic barriers, Tom Bradley reported. The magnetic fields are dispersing their attacks completely. Morrison watched as more Imperial ships moved to surround them. It seems they are committed to this course of action. Kate, are you ready? Railguns locked on target, Captain. Awaiting your orders. Ryan, send 1 more message. Tell them this is their last chance to withdraw. The final human warning reached Admiral Korthik as his fleet prepared for full assault. He dismissed it without translation. No primitive species could threaten the Imperial fleet. All ships open fire. Destroy that vessel. 50 Imperial warships unleashed their fury. Plasma cannons and disruptor beams filled space with deadly energy. The combined firepower could have melted a small moon. The brilliant light faded, and the human ship remained intact. Captain Morrison looked at his undamaged vessel and made a decision that would change galactic history forever. Kate, return fire. The first railgun shot from the human ship moved at a speed that shocked the Imperial fleet. A solid metal projectile, no bigger than a telephone pole, accelerated to nearly the speed of light by magnetic coils. It struck the lead Imperial destroyer. Before anyone could react, the kinetic energy was beyond anything the Empire had ever encountered. The destroyer's energy shields, designed to stop plasma beams and energy weapons, offered no protection against solid matter moving so fast. The projectile punched through the shield, through the hull, and out the other side in a fraction of a second. The Imperial destroyer shuddered, then broke apart as massive holes appeared in its structure. Atmosphere vented into space as the crew inside scrambled for escape pods.